Two, one. We are back with another superstar interview with our main man, Kyle Trow. Hope I pronounced your last name right. But welcome
You'd
to the
pronounce it
DT.
true.
Perfect. Welcome to the DTA interview. Now, before we start, I want to show you guys Kyle's hard work over the last year and a half. Okay, so this is where Kyle started. Didn't really have a fitness journey, didn't really have a strength program, didn't really know how to navigate his macros and making this sustainable. So what I want to do today is interview Kyle and pretty much ask him what got him here, what are some tips and tricks he's used to get the body he has right now, and because of his busy schedule, like how is he able to maintain this physique? So before we start all that, Kyle, can you tell everyone who you are, where you're from, what do you do?
Sure. What's up, guys? I am Kyle, and I'm from Utah in the United States. And what I do for a living is quite unconventional. I don't work a 9 to 5. I'm consistently on the road, which makes my physical journey difficult. I even was on the road when I met Pat. I was on filming a Netflix documentary in Hawaii, on and off, and it was quite difficult because I didn't even have access to a gym at the time. So that's when I met Pat, probably back in 2022 at the very end of it, or something like that, beginning of 2023. I don't remember when exactly, but I know it's been over a year, I feel like.
Mm. Okay, and before you started with me, like what did your fitness and health journey look like?
So before I started with Pat, my fitness journey was all over the place. I retired at the time I met Pat. I was a retired professional ballroom dancer, and well, I had done that my whole life. So I was under the pretense that, oh, I shouldn't be going to the gym because I get enough cardio. In dancing, I shouldn't be doing that. And if I do, I'm going to become like this jack bodybuilder, muscly guy, which I won't fit into my costumes for. So I didn't even touch the gym my entire life, and that made me feel as though I had a lot more work to do. And once I finally retired and I discovered, you know what, I was living a lie that whole time, I decided, you know what, it's time to get my body back on track. And so I did just that.
Okay. What were you unable to do back then that you wish you could? Was there anything in your life that you didn't really feel like you were getting ahead with because your fitness journey was like holding you back, or maybe your athletic ability, your physique, like anything at all?
Yeah, so a little bit of context to that question too. So after I retired, I actually became out overweight. I was 55, 55 pounds heavier than what I really should be. And that was a huge wake up call once I met Pat. Um, it's been an interesting journey simply because of the difficulty of staying on track with everything. But will you repeat the question for me again?
What were you unable to do that you wish you could back then?
What was I able to do that I wish
Unable,
that I was
unable,
unable to
unable
do?
to do. Yeah.
Oh, I see. Well, what I was unable to do was have the discipline that I needed to obtain. And so there's a lot of things that went into play that helped me obtain the discipline, but my physical journey was one of those things that helped me learn how to do it. And Pat, you were there with me the entire time.
Mm.
So discipline is probably the hardest thing for me that to obtain, which I'm able to get now.
Okay. Now, before you obtain discipline, like, would you consider yourself a disciplined individual before?
I always thought that I was a motivated person and disciplined, but I certainly wasn't. I procrastinated with everything in my life. Even my career at the time, I procrastinated homework when I was in school. I mean, who doesn't do that really, right? But I procrastinated everything
Okay.
before. So
Okay. And did it have like a negative impact around people in your life?
I feel like it did because, especially around women, right? Because women have that innate ability to see, okay, is this going to be a man that can protect me and provide for me? Well, they can definitely see that through their physicality. right? I mean, nobody likes a weak individual. Nobody can deal with that. And so it definitely affected me, right? Because I was weaker, number one, physically, and number two, I didn't show that I was disciplined. And so people would look at me, oh, okay, that's a nice boy right there. But they
Mhm.
wouldn't take me seriously. It's the whole thing of when you walk into a room and you're physically in shape, you you gain respect. And so that's one thing that I didn't have that I have now.
Wow. You know, it's funny. I was at the gym today with another guy who's 6'4", 220, big guy. And we were training today, and I'm like, I had like a long sleeve shirt on. Didn't look like I went to the gym, and I met him for the first time through a friend. And I'm like, let's do chest. And I'm like, I'm pretty strong. So we're lifting weights, and he's like, "Would you want to do 30 kilograms, 40 kilograms?" It's like 80 pounds. I'm like, sure. And we're going heavier and heavier. And I picked up the weight that he was doing, and I just like
Mhm.
blasting them out. He's like, didn't expect that because I wore a shirt, right? But to your point, when like you're talking about a guy, right? So when we
Mhm.
don't look physically capable or physically strong, it's hard not to judge because your physical body is literally telling the other individual, whether it be a woman, a guy, your mother, your son, your children, what you're all about,
Yeah.
what you're all about. And when we were out of shape, like even myself, I'd remember the voices in my head. I'm not there yet, but I'm fucking going. I'm not there yet, but I'm going there. And then when you walk into a room, you can feel that you're there because of respect that you get from the people in the room, not from like your voices like that you say, not from your thoughts, but you feel the respect in the room. So I'm glad that you mentioned that. Was there a moment when you realized something needed to change?
There actually was. There was quite a an interesting thing that had happened. Well, I wouldn't really say interesting because it happens to all people. A part of a hero's journey is hitting the rocks, hitting down deep. And I was in that part of my life back before I met you, Pat, because I had lost my girlfriend due to complacency, and physicality was one of those things. That was one of the reasons. And so I feel as a man that anytime you have a breakup, I think, oh, it's actually a good thing because it's unlimited motivation to get myself back into shape physically. And so that was the initial thing that changed everything was my breakup, and I wasn't where I wanted to be financially, and I just wasn't a confident individual that I knew that I wanted to be. And so all those things cultivated all came together to to create this big bubble of energy, of motivation. And that's what I really fed off of for the first little bit. And then as soon as I continued down that path of progression, I then forgot all about her and I forgot about the hard things, and I developed discipline. Discipline is different from motivation. Motivation is fleeting to me. Motivation is one of those things that, oh, I feel like I'm in a good mood, so I'm going to go to the gym today. No, now it's turned into discipline, meaning I go to the gym regardless of how I feel. Discipline to me is doing things that you have to do again, regardless of how you feel.
I'm glad that you said that, man. You know, there's a few people in my community in the DTA that are listening to this, like Sibel, who's watching right now. I remember she put a photo up on a Friday night, and like, I don't know if she was crying or not or sweating, but she posted a photo into
Mhm.
the group saying, "Didn't feel like going, but I'm here." And that is something that we all know. The disciplined individuals know what that means. It's like Friday night at the bar, not at the bar with the drinks with the girls, the friend, like at the barbell, like doing the work. It's really fucking cool to hear that. Now, when you first joined the program and got coaching from me, what were your thoughts about having a fitness coach as a guide? Like, did you ever have one before? Like, what was that like navigating through that process?
So I had a fitness coach probably about 8 months to a year before I met you, Pat. But that was in Chicago, where I lived for a couple of years for my dance career. And the coach would just be with me when I was in the gym. That was really it. And he would talk to me, oh, you should probably eat healthy, blah, 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 blah. But no disrespect to the individual because he did his job and he did a great job. But I say he did a great job because he was doing exactly what he was supposed to. But I wasn't. I didn't really have much of a way to track where I was and where I needed to go. Even though I had made a few goals with him, um, that's the biggest difference with your program, Pat. It's because of the app, which I'm able to track my macros. I'm able to track my workouts. And even if I have detailed questions about how to do something, there's videos, or there you were. You responded to me like every single time that I had a question within 24 hours, which is so impressive. And it's been like a year since I've known you now, and I I'm not going anywhere, man. Like comparing to what I had in the past, which was not much, to what I have now, wow. I would recommend this program to anybody. In fact, I've already done that. I've tried convincing so many of my friends and family to come join you, Pat, but all of them have the same type of excuse. Oh, when I get to it, oh, blah blah blah. But this goes back to, do they have enough motivation to kickstart it? But I had
Mm.
unlimited motivation by losing my girl, right? And so, yeah,
Well, let's talk about that because a lot of people have gone through breakups. A lot of people join the program because they're like, man, my ex-boyfriend, like his words still haunt me from last year. I haven't done anything for myself,
right,
you
right,
know,
right.
So um let's talk about that because like I do feel like
Sure.
breakups are one of the best motivations. So
Yeah.
when that did happen, did you automatically get a spark and like I'm fucking changing my life right now? Or like did it something happen or click where you're like enough is enough? Like was there a specific moment that you remember or a feeling that you remember maybe she said something to you or you said something to yourself during a dark time that you're like I need to get my finances on right. I need to look in the mirror and be proud of what I've created. Like I need to get my shit together. Was there a time or a moment that had happened for you?
So I can respond to that question with two answers that relate to each other. The first thing is, it was initially it wasn't a specific moment. Well, she left, and so I was in a state of emotion, rightfully so. Everyone's pretty emotional when they have life-changing things happen, like a breakup. And I was constantly questioning myself, what is it that I did? What is it that I did? And then finally, after reflecting a lot, I realized I was a complacent piece of crap. I was this lazy guy who was not doing what I should do. And when I realized that, I remember right where I was. I was sitting in my bedroom, well, in the living room. Living in a I was in Hawaii on a shoot out there, and I was scrolling through my Instagram, and one of your videos popped up, and then I kept seeing your videos and stuff over time too after that. But it was my reflection on what it was that I did in the past during my relationship, which was becoming complacent, along with what I kept seeing on my Instagram or my social media, all that in that exact moment was just like, all right, Kyle, I gotta kick things into gear. And then I
Mhm.
started that conversation with you.
Yeah, yeah, that's really cool. What positive impact are you having now on others that maybe you didn't have before?
That is a great question. A positive impact that I know that I'm making are, I have developed a completely new group of friends, completely new. Not only because I'm now single, it's everybody around me, even my own family that knew from before and now, of course, they not only respect me a lot more, but they're constantly asking me questions, physical questions, since we're on this topic. Like my brother-in-law, for example, I saw him at the grocery store a month ago. I was shopping for my stuff, and he was getting a big bag of candy and stuff like that. And he, funny guy, but he was asking me, man, so how are you doing it? Because I was in my gym clothes, right? I just got back from the gym. How are you doing that? It seems like what's your secret? And I told him, well, there's no actual secret. It's pretty simple, you know, do X, Y, Z. And I explained it to him, and he's like, oh, okay. Well, can I go work out with you? I said, yeah, dude, let's do it. And ever since then, I feel like the topic of my physical body and my change and my drive and my discipline that I've achieved and will continue to achieve has been a hot topic with almost everybody.
Mm. What are you most proud of about yourself and like what you've achieved in the program and we're continuing to achieve, but like, yeah, what are you most proud of?
What I'm most proud of is the fact that even though I reached my goals, my ultimate goal of losing the weight, which I actually did that really quick, actually.
Mm.
Um, Even though I had reached that goal, I feel like the thing that I'm the most proud of is that I've maintained a consistent discipline to do it every single day, roughly. And even with the crazy busy travel schedule. And that I feel as though is probably my most proud thing to achieve is the discipline needed,
Mm.
because it not only helped me with my physical body, but it has transformed my life, Pat. It's crazy. It's crazy. I'm more financially stable because of the discipline that I've achieved, which I relate back to gaining my body better. Even spiritually, I have more drive that to want to connect in with with God or whatever it is that I follow, right? And even having relationships with other people, friends, women, it's been so much more confident boosting. So because of all those things, the thing that I'm proud of the most is the discipline that I have achieved.
I love that. Discipline can domino effect in other areas of your life that you never thought could be imagined because you're going,
Absolutely.
yeah, and when you stick to it, good things happen. Because while everyone's like, oh my God, worried, you're like that rock that everyone can depend on, which is really cool. Now let's talk about this. Last question. What would you tell someone who is watching this right now, either watching it on my YouTube, listen to us on the podcast, watching it on the replay, who are currently making excuses not to either one, get out of complacency, or two, not reach out for help, thinking they can do it one day? Like, what advice do you have for the individual who's making the excuses and just staying comfortable and being complacent?
Well, that should be an easy answer, right? The reason why it's a little bit more difficult to answer that is we don't know what it is that people are going through, right? Whether that be something that's dramatic or something small or something that hasn't happened to them. So they don't really have much of a reasoning of want to take that first step. But the general advice I would give to people who are stuck in that mentality that you're talking about, Pat, is take the first step. Even if you have no idea, even if you're not even that convinced that it's something you want to do it for your first month. That's because
Yeah.
4 weeks can change a lot. It can change a lot. I mean, even if you're very large and you're looking to lose weight, which everybody's, not everybody, but many people have been there, especially us Americans, you know. If you're trying to question yourself whether or not to take that first step, just do it. Just take that first month and see where you're, and then reevaluate after you reach those 4 weeks. And if you see any type of progress, which you will, I guarantee it, especially if you follow what Pat tells people, follow his program, follow the macros, follow all that stuff, which is really not that hard. It, it
Yeah.
it's that's the only advice I can give.
Well, Kyle, those words of those words are very like not just right, but it's your truth. And the reason why I asked that specifically because you were complacent and someone like you that travels, that had a breakup that could have torn him apart. You did something about it. And I think a lot of people don't realize they have options in this world. So thank you for sharing your wisdom. Thank you for sharing your experience. Thank you for sharing your kindness and like your just overall ability to, achieve the things you want, and share that with me in the community today. So I appreciate that.
Of course.
All right, guys, that is it for this episode with Kyle from the DTA. If you want to know more about where you can get information on how to be the best version of you, go to the Newbie Gains podcast on Spotify. We're back 5 days a week, and you can check me out there. Otherwise, we'll see you in the other episode. Peace.